Reactor, online. Sensors, online. Weapons, online. All systems, nominal.
Hello everybody, Average Gamer, and welcome to another Let's Talk about MechWarrior. So this episode, melee weapons and shields. So as I said at the end of the last episode, this was a requested video to talk about. So what I would like to get into first is the shields, mainly because I think it's the easiest one. In lore, there was really only one type of shield. If you go by lore, it was the blue particle shield, if I'm not mistaken. I looked up on Sarn, that's the only thing I could find. And I talked to one of my Baron, one of the oldest guy, second oldest guy in our unit, and the guy who played Battletech way back in the day. It was pretty much the only actual kind of mainstream one, and it was a failure. All of them were failures. There was other ones, but none of them really worked. The blue particle shield basically was a shield that protected a mech. It used up one slot and was 1 ton and would protect just that spot against PPC damage and PPC damage only. To be honest, if they were 2 institute shields, yeah, it would probably increase the time to death or time to kill that they're looking for. But to be honest with you, I don't feel it mixes well with the ideology of the game. I mean, the game is more about, it's almost like a gladiatorial combat. It's me versus you. I'm going to rip your arm off. I'm going to rip your other arm off. I'm going to fucking take your shoulder with you and your fucking kidneys. I'm going to take the other side of you. Then I'm going to take one of your legs. And then if I feel gracious, I'll just take you right off at the head. Or I'll slowly whittle down your chest and then whittle down your other arm and then decide where I'm going to shoot you from there. So shields kind of defeat the purpose of the gladiatorial nature of the game. Though, as I said, there are shields in the lore, but they weren't really working. Like they're in there, but at the same time they don't work half the time. When you do your rolls or whatever on the tabletop game, it's like one of the gentleman I was talking to said, he's like, usually there's better things you could do with that ton, whether it's ammo, heat sinks, whatever. Because in the end, 90% of the time, it would just go through the shield, or the shield would just malfunction, or just not be worth it at all. So, makes sense, right? Now, if they were to put shields in the game, I could see it just being additional armor. Like, it would just up your health, basically. So, say the health here on my Kentaro, theoretically, is like 400 in the game. It would just add a fraction of it. So, it would bump it up to, say, 500. Basically, just add, 25%. So it bump the heat up a little bit. But obviously like that, like you'd have to bump the heat. You have to charge it, say, for example. So say it kind of works like ECM, right? So if you have someone with, say, some sort of anti-shield technology, some sort of EMP technology, even a PPC, for example. So shields, say, only work against energy. Ballistics go through it. PPCs, it's particles. So it's just energized particles. So they're though I will admit, light is both a particle and a wave. So, I mean, theoretically, PPCs would say have a 50-50 shot of going through, yes or no. It'd be kind of an RNG type thing. Or they'd hit the shield but still do damage on whatever other side they hit. Then someone would say, for example, or even have PPCs damage the actual shields themselves. So the way to get someone's shields down is PPC hit. It knocks the shields down for a little bit, kind of like it is with ECM. And then, boom, you can lay down the rounds. Ballistics, go through it, no problem. But slow-moving lasers, for example, or fast-moving lasers, hit the laser, hit it, and just done. That's it. Kaput. They're stopped. That's also a way to fight the laser vomit problem they've been having. But as I said, it kind of defeats the gladiatorial purpose of the game. It does make you think more tactical, like, okay, that Black Knight over there, he's actually running the, a shield. If I don't have a PPC, I'm fucked. I don't have any ballistics, I'm fucked. I can't even touch him. Now, mind you, what it could also be is, okay, well, that Black Knight over there, or even this Kentaro, it has a shield. But to shoot its lasers out, the shield turns off temporarily. So he shoots, his shield is off goes off a split second as he hits the button, but then is off for about 10 seconds after that. Takes like a recharge rate. So it kind of makes that person kind of think, okay, what am I going to do? Whatever. Or even set it up tonnage-wise. Set up so it's like 2 tons. So pretty much the only people that would be smart to take it are lights, so they can run into a location, like into a middle of a whole entire group, and basically be like, hey everybody, how you guys doing? We now know where you are, and then run away. That might make lights a little too overpowerful. I don't know. But like I said, I can't see that being instituted in the game. Shields are not, like I said, really big in the lore. I mean, like I said, they're there, they're just not really used. Next one is melee weapons. So, melee weapons like swords and stuff. So, one reason why I picked my Kentaro here is because of the hands, right? It has hands. Now, the CryEngine, the way it's designed, does have the ability to animate, the ability for it, for things like that, right? Well, the problem is the way they've designed the game, right? And the way the games themselves work is the way the models are, they can't really, like kind of like how in Call of Duty, right? You have your hand in front of you, and you can stab them or whatever. Unfortunately, the way the game is, you can't really do anything. Now, mind you, what you can do, right, with the Kentaro here, for example, it has this slot here, so it can kind of move its arm if you're holding your arm out, kind of like you're holding a coffee, kind of go up and then down. So you can kind of bash someone. But say, for example, you can also, for an extra, 2 tons, 3 tons, 4 tons, you can actually throw on a sword instead. So drop a LRM-5 or drop an SRM-4 or 6 in my case, a heatsink or 2, and throw on this fucking huge sword. Then, you have the option in your weapons. We'll go to our MechLab here, weapon groups. So one of these, right, will then be a melee button. So say group number 1 is actually my sword. You actually have to tell the game, hey, 1 is melee, so you click over here, melee. It then, instead of doing anything, it just straightens out the arm, as if it's just parrying forward. That's all it's got to do. The arm just goes straight out. Now, at least this way what will happen is this arm goes completely straight. And what can happen is, since you can move the torso, you can actually just slice. And it does an immediate damage to that spot. It'll do a crit, but the thing is, it has a charge up rate as well, right? Because you're using all those actuators real fast. So it'll go out, stab, and then come back. And then, 10 seconds, and you can do it again. But, I mean, the range of it will be, like, super small, right? That's one way. A second way is, to be honest with you, a lot harder, and that would be to start... That would cause them, basically, a lot of problems in the long run. For example, adding in a lot more scripts to the game and at the back end, to be honest with you. From what I understand with CryEngine, it can be a pain in the ass. But basically, I can't see... I mean, there's not that much fighting face-to-face anymore, so, I mean, theoretically, that you could grapple. So if there's a button there, for example, if you have hand actuators, if you get in close, all of a sudden, there'll be an option to grab. It'll just pop up on your weapons, because you have hand actuators, right? So where it would say ECM at the very bottom, below that it says hands. And it just says grapple. Basically what can happen is, on my Kentaro here, I can run up to someone and basically just grab onto them. And just start shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting. If this was a little bit more of a like where the mechs were a little bit more articulated, a little bit more movable as a person, theoretically I would love to see, as my awesomes here, we're going to select one real quick. Like my pretty baby here. It's got this arm. I would love to see it reach out and grab someone. Like, use this arm, reach out, grab them. And then I can shoot them with my laser here, my laser here. Like, that's one of the bonuses of having the awesome. I can't wait till it gets rescaled, but it looks like a gorilla with weapons. But, you'll have the ability to grab someone with that arm, right? Just reach out and just grab them. Or even if it's not even a simple grab, but depending on the mech, right? Like, for example, the awesome here. Instead of doing a grapple or a grab or even a sword, it's just... You hit the melee button, and he just reaches out and just grabs something, and then just tries to rip it off. And it doesn't do any damage on the grab, but when the player turns away or turns towards it or does any turns against it, it will do damage to that location. Now, on the paper doll, it would show, right? I don't know, some sort of indicator that you've been grabbed onto there, which is something. I don't know. Like I said, I can't really see melee being put in too much. Maybe things like with hand weapons, like where you can just simply add in something, or even spikes. That's the thing I would probably see the most likely. So for melee, right, you keep the fist, but in the fist is basically just a huge spike, or it's even a sword, right? It's hidden in the arm. I think. Which one is it? I think it's the Centurion here. Yeah. So for example, the Centurion right in here. So instead of you having all these things, you have a sword, for example, in there. You hit the button and it comes out. So basically, you're sitting right on top of the person, and you tap the sword button. So action 1. It comes out and just stabs them once and then goes back in. It does X amount of points of damage, depending on where it is, right? It can do possible crit, etc., etc. And then you can do it again. So that's only when you're standing on top of them. That's an idea. Now that also brings me to the other one, which is how would you defend against this, right? Because theoretically, you're attacking the person and hitting them, and really, in the end, you have no recourse, right? No way around it. That's where this comes in. The shield. Have every mech with the ability to equip an anti-melee defense system. A shield. Something like one of the things I noticed in lore is my Black Knight here was known to have a shield on it. Now, for the record, I call this guy Optimus Prime. But basically, what if you place a huge shield on there, so I know on my left arm I have this shield that can protect me from these melee attacks. These spikes in the hand. Won't be too hard to do. Just basically gotta obviously add it into the game, but you can add on that and boom, there you go. There's an attachment point. Each arm has 1 point. Now some mechs may only have it on the left arm. Some mechs may be able to take multiple different types of shields. Like have it so that it's a full body shield. So it goes the entire mech. Some will have just a circle. Some, like the Centurion, will just have a small one. Now have it so that if you put one on there, it will affect your mech's turn radius. It'll affect your mech's torso turn, weapon systems, because it's going to have that little bit of a pull right to the left. So the mech has to compensate, so it's going to affect that in some sort of way. So as I said, just kind of sum things up a little bit here. So in my eyes, shields, not really. It kind of defeats the gladiatorial combat feeling to the game. But melee, the main thing I can see is something along the lines of some sort of protuberance coming out of the arms. Or even if the arms just kind of pop out a little bit and hit someone and then pop back in. Like just a little bit, like as if they're kind of just going like, poof. If you really like this one, just poof. Something like that. Where they just go out and just punch. Or even if you just click it and something comes out of the hand. Like the hand opens up and there's a spike. And it just hits. You don't need to... All you gotta do is edit and show it that it's coming out and hitting, going in. It doesn't even need to actually hit the mech, just as long as I know I'm doing it. The other player, it'll actually it'll actually show. I don't know. Like it'll show the damage being taken, but if it shows you're not getting shot, fuck. Because when you log on to someone, right, it'll say SRM whatever. It'll say left hand something pike. I don't know. It'll say something. What these names are, I don't know. I just come up with random ideas. I don't name them. But yeah, and then obviously, as I said, a way to counter it would be shield technology. An actual physical shield, like a riot shielder. Different sizes shields. Every shield affects your torso twist, your pinpoint accuracy, and things like that. But that is this episode. So until next time, see you guys on the battlefield. Bye-bye.